What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from International Racing League IRL F1 2019 on the PS4 platform, and this is the International Racing League Exhibition Series, and today we are doing realistic car performance where we stick the fastest drivers in the league into the slowest cars and the slowest drivers in the league into the fastest cars for unequal advantage. And I don't know all of the drivers, but I will run down what I know. CRG Blizzard is the reigning F1 champion from the F1 series. That is Matthew Alder, followed by Brandon Glover, who's also another F1 driver. Luke Toured is Luke Baker. I am not sure who Mystic 31 is. Paco Suarez is going to be in the Haas. Thomas Mumford is in the McLaren. Those are two F2 drivers. BRT Faz is in the Williams. Epic the Animal, that is newcomer Logan, who only got to participate in a couple of IRL F2 races, did pick up a win at Suzuka. He's going to be in the Alfa Romeo. Tyler Thomas, I haven't said that name in a couple of seasons, going to be rocking the Mercedes Petronas AMG. Gravity 151 is in the Ferrari. Sam Thompson in the Racing Point Delta F1 in the Ferrari. Callum Anderson is an F3 driver. He will be in the Renault. IRL Shane 50 is in the Red Bull. Tim Brusdelines is in the Factory Renault. And I am KAMIKAZE-FOX. And we've got Lewis Marshall, Tyler Thomas on the live chat, Luke Baker. Good to hear from everybody. And yes, it's been a hot minute since I've run a race with you commentating. That is for sure, Tyler. I can only do F2 these days. And Sandre Sourhog chiming in, one of the league admins. Always good to have everybody with us. And this should be a really fun race today. Here we're going to do an 18-minute short qualifying session, followed by a 50% race here at Monza. And again, this is the International Racing League Exhibition Series. And I'm really looking forward to this. It's been a long time since I've done I think I participated last year. I think I've actually participated in a realistic race where I was in a Ferrari. I did poorly, as I usually do in this game. So, looks like we've got Cooper X55 joining in. I can only imagine that is the infamous Harry Cooper from F2 series. He'll be in today's Haas. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing how Brandon Glover and Matthew Alder do in the Toro Rosso, and obviously Alder in the Williams. The slowest car on the grid, fastest driver in the league for sure. He's even got top 5 world times on some of the time trials in this game. So Brandon Glover are going to be one to watch. I'm also interested to see how Logan does, along with another American, Tyler Thomas. Always good to see some Americans on the grid. And definitely going to be a joy to watch some of these guys again. It's been a while since I've seen some of these guys on track, so try to keep up with all the action. It should be very interesting to see how some of these drivers do with the realistic performance. Obviously, Williams is slow, Mercedes is fast. So as I said, we take the fastest drivers, stick them in the slowest cars, the slowest drivers in the fastest cars, and qualifying should be interesting. And even have weather set to dynamic, which could be interesting. So it doesn't rain a whole lot in Monza, but as I say that, we do remember Sebastian Vettel's first win in the Toro Rosso was in the wet, in a very wet weekend. So rain could always be the great equalizer, as they say. So looking forward to doing this. And this is the third out of 4 races for the International Racing League Exhibition Series. I did not do comms on the other ones, but they did classic cars, they did 2010 cars, they're doing the realistic performance, and I can't remember what the 4th one's going to be. And also be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. If it's your first time ever watching, you should definitely go back and watch the F1, F2, and F3 seasons. We've got so many drivers signed up for next season, F1 2020 on the PS4 platform, that there's even talk of doing a F4 tier. And for the first time ever, International Racing League is going to be opening up to a realistic performance league where, again, they'll put the fastest drivers in the slowest cars, the slowest drivers in the fastest cars, and that is going to be racing as well. So be sure to look forward to that in the coming game as well. The new season kicks off late August, early September for International Racing League. And again, could be up to 4 tiers of racing, F1, F2, F3, and F4. Not only that, the realistic performance league will be running in the middle of the week. Not to mention, they're currently running the second season of the IRL Dirt 2.0 Rally. They finished off last season, not that long ago, a couple weeks back. Brendan Glover, your reigning champion, where we ran the R5 cars, which were a lot of fun to drive, very realistic. Now we are currently running Group A cars, which is fairly limited to the Subaru, the Lancia, the Ford Escort Cosworth, and I think a Mitsubishi Evo. But hey, I got a win last week because of it. Really nobody participated except me, so that's why I got the win, and I'm okay with that. Pick up the win at Spain. Argentina just kicked off today, and the IRL Dirt Rally Rig is really interesting. You get a whole week. You basically get 7 days to run all 12 stages, and I did Spain. I was really the only one. 2 other drivers participated. I think some guys got caught napping last week as they weren't really ready for the season to kick off. There's been a lot of talk about the exhibition series and a lot of guys gearing up for that. So got a lot of talk on the live chat. So really excited to kick this off. And a little background on me: I've been with IRL for a couple seasons now. This is season 5 or season 6. This was season 6. I think I've been with them for 3 seasons now. No, we just got done doing season 7 is what we got done doing. We did 2 seasons this year, and I've been with them since season 4, I think. F1 2017 on the PS4 platform. I've been commentating for them. Unfortunately, I don't get to commentate for the big dogs in F1 series. When they did the splits, they split the days and the times, so I've only been able to do IRL F2 for the past couple seasons, but F2's been some great competition, and it's good to see some of the F2 drivers in here today, along with some of the F3, and obviously the F1. Going to be really interesting to see what Brendan Glover and Matthew Older do in today's race. So, no, Lewis Marshall, Sandre is just here to watch, just like you, my friend. So far we've got 18 drivers for today's race. I think we might be waiting on a couple more to join in. Let's see if anybody else has joined. SHR Indigo. Not sure who that is, but he is going to be in the Alfa Romeo. And again, Harry Cooper. Aspect 05, that's Kevin Harrison. He'll be in the Racing Point. He's an F2 champion from a couple seasons back. Was unable to defend his F2 title this year. But Harrison, a very good driver, and actually a very good wet weather driver as well. That was one of his strong points in the season that he won the championship. Unfortunately, he was definitely top 3 in points this year, but unable to defend that. And where are... Here we go. Ryan Hareen was the champion for F2 this year. Kevin Harrison, I believe he finished 2nd or 3rd in points. But Harrison, good to have him, and it looks like we just lost somebody. So, Matthew Older, CGR Blizzard, he's currently, as I said, he's actually a 2-time F1 champion now for IRL. He's the first 2-time champion. He's done it back-to-back. He's tied for the all-time wins list with Cameron Weston Edwards at 16 wins. Brandon Glover, F1 driver, always very fast and methodical. Luke Baker, used to seeing him in a Ferrari, I think the last time I called out his name. Paco Suarez, F2 driver, has been with F2 for a couple of seasons. Thomas Mumford, also an F2 driver. BRT Faz, not familiar with him at all. And then we've got Epic the Animal, who came over from HTARL, that's Hit the Apex Racing League. He was racing in the Assists League for HTA. They cut their season short and basically went defunct for the time being. So we got him into IRL, and he quickly kicked off International Racing League career. picking up a win at round 11 at Suzuka. It was very unexpected for him, and he backed it up with another great run at Brazil. And then we've got Tyler Thomas, who I haven't had the pleasure of calling out his name in a couple seasons. I believe he's F3. Gravity 151, I'm going to assume is an F3 driver. He's in the Ferrari. Sam Thompson is in the Racing Point. That is an F2 driver. Delta F1's in the Ferrari. He's also F3, as is IRL Shane 50. Tim Brusdelines, he is F3, F1 maybe? I can't remember. Callum Anderson, I'm pretty sure, is an F3 driver. He'll be in the Renault. And Indigo is in the Alfa Romeo. Harry Cooper, Paco Suarez, Kevin Harrison. There's Sondre Sauerhog. Looks like he is going to participate in the race. He took a little bit of coercing on the live chat, but we've got Sondre in here, and that's going to give us 18 drivers for today's race. And we're getting ready to kick off here. 18-minute short qualifying session with a 50% race. Weather set to dynamic. Remember, guys, realistic performance today. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. And Lewis Marshall cheering on Sondre Sauerhog. Yeah, at Monza, there is the Parabolica. I'm sorry, this is Hungary. I can get the flags confused. Y'all Europeans need to pick different flags. Y'all got the same freaking flags. So it's Hungary, not Monza. Whatever. Should have done Monza. Hungary sucks. Hungary's a bad track. It's a bad track in real life. It's a bad track in the game. Why are we doing Hungary? Either way. So sorry about that, everybody. I thought it was Monza. It's Hungary. European flags. They're all 3 bars, and they're almost all the same frickin' 3 colors. Green, orange, and white. Even Mexico. It's either green, orange, and white, or it's red, white, and blue. It's red, green, and orange. It looks like we've got Toxic Tomato just joined. Looks like he's going to be a tick late. Toxic Tomato will be, if he's in the race, he'll be the 20th driver on the grid. Oh, and Ollie Flavel has joined, the New Jersey man himself, from Jersey. The American from the East Coast. 3 Americans on the grid now, Logan and Tyler Thomas and Ollie Flavel. So they'll round out the 20 drivers. Don't think they'll be able to participate in qualifying, so they'll be starting at the rear of the grid. So setup is going to be key. This is, setup is definitely going to be key with realistic performance, because you're just not going to be on equal ground with anybody. So some of these guys really need to capitalize on a strong setup for today's race. Hungary used to be a great track back in the day by modern F1 standards. I don't think it makes for very good racing in real life. There has been some pretty epic races, I will say, in IRL history at Hungary. So from a video game standpoint, it's not that bad. I do horrible at it, but I'm horrible at the game. But well, it said Jersey on Lewis Marshall correcting me. That said Jersey in his bio with the F1 sign up on the Discord, so whatever. Ollie Flavel, not from Jersey. Go Logan. I'm going to root for the American. So let's pick this up. We finally got some guys out on their hot laps. I'm sorry, out on their out laps. We'll get some tire information up for everybody. Get the track map going. Get the lap data. Lots of guys on out laps, so pretty much going to be a full grid for today's race. Let's see. Looks like somebody started a hot lap. Was that Tim? And Tim on the factory Renault, he's the first driver to start a hot lap. Let's see what kind of times he can set. The very short DRS areas here, front stretch, and then you get the U-turn and then the short shoot down to the turn 3, or turn 2, but you got that very tricky turn 4 coming up the hill, the left-hander. It's got a little bit of a blind corner. Then you've got the chicane down here. Oh, and he cuts the corner big time, goes to the grass, runs wide coming out of the corner, and that's going to invalidate his time. So Tim, trying to start his first hot lap, that is going to be a no-go. He's going to have to make a second effort on that. And it looks like Sam Thompson's done the same. He's invalidated his time as well, running wide there. They'll pick up Sondre Sauerhog in the McLaren. Currently out on the hard tires. So I see some of these guys are going to be on the hard tires. They're going to try and set a banker lap, put a time on the board, go back in, make some minor adjustments. Oh, and to the inside as the Haas gets out of the way. Yellow flag flies in the area where Sondre's at. Now BRT Faz is the first one to set a time at a 1:19.550. Here comes Sondre Sauerhog. Sondre to the top of the charts with a 1:18.995. Brandon Glover second quickest with a 1:19.358. So good effort by Sondre, setting those times on hard tires. Kevin Harrison currently on an out lap. Harrison is going to be, what is Harrison rocking today? A Racing Point. That's going to be weird for me. Harrison's been driving in the Alfa Romeo for the past 2 seasons in IRL F2, so, but he is currently on a out lap on the soft tires, so he's going to try and go big or go home right off the bat. And, oh, he loses the back end. A good thing it's only an out lap. So here we go. Kevin Harrison going to start his hot lap now. We've definitely got times coming in. Tyler Thomas, third quickest. Oh, and IRL Shane, 50, 1:18.682 to the top of the charts, 0.3 quicker than Sondre Sauerhog. That's going to drop Sondre to second. Brandon Glover is third. Tyler Thomas, fourth. Faz, 1:19.550 is fifth. Rouge the Leads finally sets a time at a 1:19.621. Mystic is 1:20.151. Indigo, 1:22.01. We're riding along with Kevin Harrison right now. He's on the soft tires. He's actually one of the few drivers that's got the speed, especially on the softs. Ooh, you got to watch that curb there. That curb running uphill in that right-hander will definitely unbalance the car big time. A little bit of counter steer coming out of the chicane. Car looks really twitchy right now for Harrison, as he looks like he's struggling with the grip a little bit. Harrison coming out of the penultimate corner into the last corner now, gets the power down. And Harrison invalidated his time, unfortunately. Actually, no, he didn't invalidate his time. He went 1:22.529, and I think he went, I think he got out of the gas there at the last second is kind of what that looked like. So Kevin Harrison currently 11th quickest on the soft tires. So Harrison, I think, sandbagging a little bit there. So we'll pick up Thomas Mumford. Mumford in the McLaren. Yet to set a time. And a big twitch there coming out of that corner. A lot of yellow flags here flying in Sector 1, Sector 3, we're in Sector 2. Yellow flags all over the place. A lot of on-offs in the area, especially in the Sector 3 area. So Thomas Mumford had a bit of a rough season, 12 rounds. He had 4 DNFs throughout the course of the IRL F2 season, but he did manage to put some points on the board. Good mid-pack driver. He's going to come across the line, and He goes 1:18.848. That's good enough for second quickest. And I'm going to pick up Epic the Animal. That is Logan. He is from the U.S. I know that for a fact. I don't know what his last name is. And Jared Fosbury on the live chat saying, good to see me in the booth. It's always good to be here for IRL. Good to be calling out some of these drivers' names that I haven't been able to see or talk about for the last couple seasons. Right now we're watching Logan, Epic the Animal. He's made a big impression so far in the F2 series. We look forward to seeing him again next season for sure. He's going to run a full season of IRL, and there's even talk of him doing some double duty in the SRL, that is the Sandro Racing League. And SHR Indigo's retired from the session, so he was 11th quickest, 1:22.01, done for the session. Epic's going to come across the line, and he goes to the top of the charts. He's the first driver to crack into the 117s, and it's a 1:17.1, and that is a huge gap between Epic and IRL Shane's time. 1.5 second gap. They're both on soft tires. Alfa Romeo versus the Red Bull, or the Toro Rosso would be. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure that's the Red Bull time. Great qualifying effort by Logan. And now we've got some guys coming out of the pits. And Kevin Harrison. Now Harrison on another outlap, this time on medium tires. So pretty confident Harrison sandbagged his first lap at the last minute. It looked like he could have run a lot faster than a 1:22. I may be wrong, but it looked like he sandbagged there at the last moment. So he's on the mediums now, currently on an outlap. So Indigo, the only driver out of this qualifying session, which is too bad for him because he was locked in at the 1:22.01. He was 11th when he went DNF for the session. He's now dropped to 13th. And you see there Harrison going around the Alfa Romeo. That is Logan getting ready to dive into the pits, I believe. So we'll ride along with Kevin Harrison again. And Harrison's time has dropped him all the way down to 16th at this point. Paco Suarez is going 6th quickest. Harry Cooper set a lap time. He is 8th quickest. And Callum Anderson 12th quickest. So we've yet to see the big gun, Matthew Alder, come out of the pits. And if I know Matthew, he'll probably save his lap time. He might give it a last-ditch effort. He'll probably leave with enough time to do an outlap and a hot lap. Harrison with a big slide. He's purple in Sector 1, but he just lost all that time. A huge slide coming out of that corner. And you can see Harrison is struggling with understeer. He turns that car in, and it just does not want to stay. And then look, there's some. He's struggling with the setup. He's got understeer, and he's putting so much effort into turning the wheel that it becomes snap oversteer. That is a very unbalanced car right now. He's going to come out of the last corner. He's going to come across the line. He improves his time. He's 1:25.50. Still only good enough for 15th quickest. And maybe he wasn't sandbagging on those softs. He's struggling with the handling of this car big time. And I was wrong about everything I said about Matthew Alder. He is out on an outlap, and we're going to ride along with him. And Luke Baker's just retired from the session, so no time set for Luke. So he will start in the back of the field. We're going to ride along with Matthew Alder, the fastest driver in the league, one of the fastest drivers in the world, in the slowest car right now. See what he can do in the Williams. Matthew Alder tied for the all-time wins list with Cameron Weston Edwards in the top division. 16 career wins. Obviously, he'll eclipse that record next season if he continues to stay with the IRL. Well, when he just invalidated his time. And Mystic 31 is retired from the session, so his time's locked in at a 1:21.58, so he's currently 13th quickest. So Mystic, Indigo, and Luke Baker all retired from the session. Now I'm going to stick with Matthew Alder as he's going to take another shot at starting a hot lap. So that time would have been a 1:19.1. That would have put him probably 6th quickest, right in between Sam Thompson and Paco Suarez. But he invalidated the time when he blew the chicane. 4:30 left to play in the session, and we're still waiting for Gravity 151 to set a time along with Matthew Alder. Luke Baker will not get to set a time, unfortunately retired from the session. Oh, and Alder runs extremely wide, and he is struggling with the handling on the Williams. And invalidates his time again, so Alder looks like he might have his hands full with this Williams, which means he might have his hands full during this race. Meanwhile, Sandre Sauerhog just came across the line to set a time of a 1:18.428, second quickest, and he did it on hard tires. Logan's still at the top of the charts with a 1:17.1. Is the only driver to break into the 1:17s. An unbelievable time. You see some of these other times that have been set on the soft tires. And we've got a lot of guys in the pits. So we'll pick up Delta F1. He's out on the medium tires, currently running 7th quickest, 1:19.144. We'll see if he can improve his time. So don't know much about Delta, but he's got a pretty smooth line coming out of there. Yellow flag flies, sector 3. That was for Delta going around that slower car getting out of the way. And Delta's going to dive into the pits, unfortunately. So we'll pick up Paco Suarez. Looks like Suarez. Looks like he might... It's not going to improve his time. Looks like that was maybe an out lap. So here goes Paco in the Haas. He raced for Renault last season in F2. He had a barrage of teammates throughout the course of the year. Jared Fosbury started the season, but Jared Fosbury decided to semi-retire, take a step back, as he was trying to change over from a controller or pad driver to a wheel driver. And he had a string of bad luck early on in the season, decided to jump into the wheel early and work on his craft on that and try and hone that in throughout the course of the season. But Suarez was the only full-time driver for Renault last year, unfortunately. So kind of odd seeing him in a Haas right now. I think he was good enough to stay in the Renault. And yellow flags flying all over the sector, and it's a very busy... the traffic behind Paco, it's very busy in the Sector 2 area. Oh, and Paco lost a lot of time. Looks like he slowed way down at that corner. Looks like he's trying to harvest all of his ERS, so now Paco's going to go for it, 100% ERS. So now Paco's going to be on a flyer. He's done 100% ERS. He's burning through that down this front straightaway. And Fosbury saying he is now full wheel and getting ready for next season. So we wish Fosbury the best of luck. Sam Thompson retires from the session. He was currently 6th quickest with a 1:19.045, so he'll be locked in at that. Delta F1's retired from the session. He's locked in at a 1:19.1. Now, while all that was happening, IRL Shane 50, who's retired from the session as well, did go a 1:17.3, along with Tyler Thomas with a 1:17.4. The 3 drivers in the 1:17s all set on the soft tires. Epic, still the pole sitter with a 1:17.1. Currently riding along with Paco Suarez, 7th quickest so far with a 1:19.129. Trying to see if he can improve his time, making a last-ditch effort. Coming through the last couple of corners now. And time is up. Hot laps will count. Sandre Sauerhog officially locked in at a 1:18.4. Here comes Paco. 1:18.732. Jumps him to 5th spot. And Epic the Animal is retired from the session. So his time's going to be locked in. Provisional pole sitter. Here goes Thomas Mumford across the line. 1:17.6. That puts him into 4th. And we're going to pick up Matthew Alder. Where did he go? Matthew Alder finally set the time at a 1:18.377. And it looks like the only driver left on track, we got Brandon Glover, just comes across the line, 7th quickest. Callum Anderson will be right behind him. And Callum Anderson not on a flyer. He is on a timed lap, and he'll crash into the wall because that's what Callum Anderson does. So Anderson 15th. So congratulations to Logan continuing his impressive run here in IRL with a pole position here on the realistic exhibition race, followed by IRL Shane 50. Tyler Thomas is 3rd. Gravity 151 is 4th. Thomas Mumford is 5th. Harry Cooper is 6th. Braden Glover 7th. Matthew Alder drops to 8th. Sandre Sauerhog is 9th. Paco Suarez 10th. BRT Faz is 11th. Sam Thompson 12th. Delta F1 is 13th. Tim Brusdelines is 14th. Callum Anderson 15th. Mystic 31 is 16th. Indigo is 17th. Kevin Harrison 18th. And Luke Baker, rounding out 19 drivers for today's race, did not set a time. So this should be a super interesting race. Logan said he would have been livid if he had called it early and didn't get the pole position. So 1:17.1 for Logan. A great run here in the realistic performance exhibition race. And we just got done doing the 18-minute short qualifying session, so we'll kick off 50% race. Dynamic weather, but it doesn't look like weather is to be a factor today. It looks like it's fairly sunny out, shadows on the ground. So we've also got Ollie Flavel, who I thought was from Jersey because apparently he can't type in the Discord. So he'll be on track as well. And I'm not sure what car he'll be in. I think Ollie Flavel, I think he's an F1 driver. So there's going to be definitely a couple of drivers to watch today. Logan, Epic the Animal, starting on pole position in the Alfa Romeo. He'll definitely be one of the drivers to watch. And I think we're going to be doing do the formation lap. So we'll run down the running order one more time. So Epic the Animal, Logan the American, starting on pole position in the Alfa Romeo. He's got IRL Shane 50 behind him. So remember, this is realistic performance, guys. So we've got Tyler Thomas in the Mercedes, a strong car. Going to be starting in the 3rd spot. Gravity 151 is going to be in 4th. Thomas Mumford, the F2 driver, will be starting in 5th in the McLaren. Harry Cooper, he's proven to have a lot of speed in years past. A little bit of an aggressive driver, a little bit of a hothead. He'll be starting in the 6th spot in the Haas. Brandon Glover, F1 driver from the F1 tier, starting in 7th in the Toro Rosso, a.k.a. AlphaTauri, heading into next season. And then the other driver to watch today is going to be Matthew Alder, one of the fastest drivers known to man, starting in the slowest car known to man in the Williams, mustered out an 8th place qualifying position under realistic performance circumstances. So that's a good qualifying effort for the Williams driver. Sandre Sauerhog is going to be in the McLaren. Paco Suarez is going to be starting in 10th, another F2 driver. And just a quick note, Sandre Sauerhog is the all-time leader in league starts. He has got more F1 starts than any other driver, and again, that will change going into next season, I'm sure, as the records will change. And we continue with our rundown. BRT Faz is going to be starting in the 11th spot. Sam Thompson will be starting in 12th. Delta F1 in the Ferrari, assuming he's an F3 driver, struggled a little bit with setup, starting in 13th. Tim Brusdelines is 14th. Mystic 31 is 15th. Indigo is going to be in the 16th spot. Kevin Harrison, a very fast F2 driver, struggled with setup. We watched how he struggled with understeer and then snap over, so he'll be starting in 17th. Luke Baker didn't get to set a time. He'll be in 18th. Callum Anderson is 19th for some reason. And Ollie Flavin will round out the 20 drivers for today's race. And this is definitely going to be interesting for sure. We wait for the grid to reset. Can we get a good camera angle? Yeah, we can. Everything's from behind. There it is. Wait for the 5 red lights. Lights are out. Time to run what you brung. They're away in a huge puff of smoke. And Sam Thompson's already retired from the session and has ruined the race of some couple of drivers in the back. What happened there? Internet issue possibly. And Logan is off to the races. He's out in front. Thomas Mumford trying to make a move around the outside of Shane. Can't make it work. And here comes Thomas Mumford to the inside. And already we've got some guys trying to make a move. Harry Cooper up into 6th. Brandon Glover trying to go around the outside. He's going to have the inside line at the next corner. Oh my goodness, and the Ferrari of Gravity ran wide coming out of there. And Sam Thompson has left the session, retired from the session. I don't know what happened at the start of that race. But definitely some contact in the back. Ruined it for some other drivers, I'm sure. You see Callum Anderson is back in the back. And we've got the Ferrari of Gravity 151 cutting the chicane. Mumford moves up into the 3rd spot. Gravity loses another spot. He's side by side with Thomas Mumford. Gets pushed wide. Mumford going around the outside of the next corner. And he's going to make that stick. Gravity falls to another spot. Down to 5th now. Harry Cooper's in 6th trying to make a move. And here comes Brandon Glover to the inside of Cooper. And a big twitch there. And there's Matthew Aldrin. He's going to try and take that position away from Brandon Glover as he gets to the inside. And now Cooper's making the move on Gravity. And Gravity is falling through the grid here. Cooper to the outside, makes that stick. Here comes Alder. And what a crazy opening lap. There's battles all over the track. And again, Gravity and Cooper battling it out. And I can't keep up. Glover trying to get a spot back from Alder. And here comes Paco Suarez to the inside of Brandon Glover. They make a little bit of contact there. They're rubbing shoulders. There's a little bit of argy-bargy there. And they're going to give up some time. Glover's going to retain the position. Suarez trying to make a move now. And he gets squeezed to the outside. And that's a tough place to make a pass. And there's a caution flag in sectors 1 and 2. And we've got ourselves a safety car. What has happened? It looks like it might be Sandre Sauerhog. Or is it Harry Cooper? I don't know what that was for. I don't know if that's just possibly Tim Brusdelines has gone in and out of the pits. He might have been one of the guys that made contact with Sam Thompson's car as soon as the lights went out. So not sure what happened to Sam Thompson. The lights went out. I said go, and he didn't go. And look at this. Epic is going to take advantage of the full course safety. A full course caution. The safety car is going to come out. Everybody's going to dive into the pits. Looks like Gravity's going to stay out along with Brandon Glover, Paco Suarez. So Logan drops from the top spot all the way down to 11th. He'll come out 11th from the pits. He's going to have the medium tires on. So the big winner in all this was Gravity, who was getting swallowed up by a hard-charging pack. He's now leading this race. He's got Brandon Glover all over the back of him in the Toro Rosso. Paco Suarez is going to be starting in the third spot. Matthew Alder in the Williams. When was the last time you saw a Williams up into fourth under realistic circumstances? Mystic is into fifth. Harry Cooper in a 10-second time penalty for Tyler Thomas exceeding the track limits under the safety car conditions. That is a kick in the pants, and he is currently 14th. And Sondre Sauerhog, who may have been a part of the safety car coming out, all the way back to 19th after making a pit stop. And quietly, Ollie Flavel has worked his way into the 9th spot after starting all the way in the back because he missed qualifying. So good on Ollie, working his way through the field in the Toro Rosso. So it's only lap 3 of 35, and what a crazy start to this race. Sam Thompson didn't go. His car created a traffic jam at the start. He retired from the session. We saw some battling going on in the first couple of laps. Then we've got the safety car that's come out. And what a mess. So as I said, I'm not a big fan of Hungary, but it has made for some fairly good online racing, especially in IRL the past couple seasons. And I know a couple seasons ago, Brandon Glover picked up a pole position here in the mid-season. It was a good pole position for him. It was the first time he had gotten a pole in a long time. And that pole position really started to catapult Brandon Glover up the ranks a little bit. He's finally starting to hone in on his craft a little bit. He's become a very good, very quick F1 driver. He's very, very fast in the Dirt Rally Championship for sure. So Brandon Glover, a force to be reckoned with here, and hoping the safety car will come in this lap. Lewis Marshall does bring up a good point. The battle that him and Felix Neguar had back in F1 2017 was fairly epic as well. And I think that was the first season that I had been doing some commentating for the league. So I do vaguely remember that. Felix Neguar. Felix he's a former F1 champ. He did participate a little bit in F2 a couple seasons back. Because of the time constraints that he had, he wasn't able to make the F1 races. So, but it looks like the safety car is coming in this lap. So Brandon Glover all over the back of Gravity 151. Gravity's going to try and slow this pack down as much as possible. He is the control car. He's going to come out of here and gun it, and they're back to green flag racing. Green, green, green. Don't pass before the start and finish line. And it looks like Matthew Alder got a good jump on Paco Suarez for the third spot. So Matthew Alder trying to work his way to a podium position. We've got some shuffling going on in the back. Looks like Kevin Harrison and Callum Anderson battling it out for the 15th spot. Harrison's able to retain that position. Jared Fosbury saying he wants Brandon Glover to win, and somebody's fallen through. That's Mystic. What has happened to him? Oh, he's off. He's lost his front wing, and that's at that very tricky left-hander coming up the top of the hill. It's quite a blind corner, and it looks like he might have had maybe a little bit of contact, probably had a little bit of help getting pushed off there. So Mystic was running in the top 10, falls all the way to 19th, and he'll have to pit. That's going to add insult to injury. Brandon Glover trying to catch the Ferrari of Gravity 151. Paco Suarez trying to hold off a hard-charging Matthew Alder. And there you see Harry Cooper trying to hold off SHR Indigo for the 5th spot. And Thomas Mumford looking to try and make a move around the outside of Shane 50 here at the last corner. There's a little bit of argy-bargy there as they rub shoulders. And now it's a drag race down the front stretch. Shane tucks back in, trying to get a little bit of slipstream, maybe pull out right here as he goes down the front straightaway. Looks like the Red Bull not quick enough in the hands of Shane to get around the McLaren. Meanwhile, Ali Flavel is side by side with BRT Faz, and he tries to go around the outside, and Ali is going to make that move stick, and the Williams runs very wide of BRT Faz. Or BRT Faz, that must be an F1 driver if he's in the Williams. And we get a yellow flag, sector 2. Is that Luke Baker? No, it's Indigo. Where is? I can't get him. In Indigo, I think he had a big off there. And they're back to green flag racing. So Indigo lost a lot of spots. It doesn't look like he has any wing damage, but it looks like he went off. And again, that's that left-hander at the top of the hill. So battles all over this track right now. So Gravity's been able to pull away from Brandon Glover to the tune of a second. So Glover's just outside the DRS range. Paco Suarez is within DRS range. But that is a Haas versus a Toro Rosso, and then behind him is going to be the Williams. So right now, Gravity sitting in the catbird seat. He's got the Ferrari. He's got one of the fastest cars on track. He's got the 1 second advantage over Brandon Glover. He's got cars behind him battling it out for position, and we see Indigo and Kevin. Oh, now we've got Luke Baker again. Looks like Luke here, the F1 driver in the Mercedes, struggling on those hard tires. And Indigo and Kevin Harrison going back and forth, swapping positions again. Harrison is in the Racing Point, and that is a way different sight for me. I've seen Harrison in the Alfa Romeo for the last 2 seasons, so Indigo is in that Alfa Romeo. Meanwhile, Paco Suarez closing in on Brandon Glover in the Toro Rosso. And Matthew Alder. And Alder's got Harry Cooper behind him. So Matthew Alder finds himself as the meat in the middle of a Haas sandwich here. And it'd be interesting to see if Harry Cooper's got anything from Matthew Alder. Now, the interesting thing about this, and we see Kevin Harrison. There's a yellow flag, sector 3. Harrison might have a little bit of damage. Oh, and Harrison gets some help and pushed into the wall. And Harrison, can he get into the pits? He's going to dive into the pits, so Harrison was already struggling, and he had some help getting into the wall. He's got end plate damage. Thomas Mumford and BRT Faz going back and forth. And BRT loses the spot out to Thomas Mumford. And we'll go back to this battle here, this 3-car battle for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The 2 Haas's versus the Williams. And as I was saying, not only is this realistic performance, which is definitely an interesting take on online league racing, but because IRL has so many drivers from so many different tiers, F1, F2, F3, there's a lot of these drivers that have not raced next to or with some of these drivers on track. So generally speaking, you don't see a guy like Harry Cooper racing against Matthew Alder. I do believe they have some experience on track with each other from a couple seasons ago when it was only one tier. But a guy like Epic, who's currently running in 7th, he's not run with any of these guys hardly, except for some of the F2 guys. And Gravity just ran the fastest lap of this race at a 1:21.593. He's now pulled out to a 3-second gap over Brandon Glover. Glover's been able to separate this battle going on here. And Matthew Alder goes to the inside of Paco Suarez. Suarez hanging tough, and Alder is doing everything he can to make that Williams work for him. And again, Suarez is going to take the inside. Ollie's going to try and maybe poke his nose in there. I'm sorry, that wasn't Ollie, that was Harry. So it's Suarez, Alder, and Cooper running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Meanwhile, Epic is trying to hold off Ali Flavel, and Epic, Logan loses the back end of the Alfa Romeo, and he goes around. And he's going to, instead of trying to dive out, and he gets reset to the track. So yellow flag sector 2. And that was for Logan. So unfortunately, Logan lost the back end of the car. Probably got some help from the curb. That curb there on that right-hander is a very dangerous curb. If you touch it with the car, it basically sets up the whole car. Or upsets the whole car, I should say. Meanwhile, back to the battle for the third spot. This three-car battle that won't stop. And Gravity again sets the fastest lap at a 1:21. He's now pulled out to 3.7 seconds, and here comes Matthew Alder on Paco Suarez. He's got the DRS advantage to the inside. Suarez isn't going to make it easy for him. And again, Suarez able to retain that position. And these guys are catching Brandon Glover. So we're about to have a four-car battle for the second spot. And again, Alder trying to find his way around. The Williams just doesn't have the power. It's amazing that Alder is able to go as fast as he is with the Williams. So Williams should be taking note. Your car's not as bad as your drivers say it is. That's not fair. Even though it's realistic performance, I think George Russell's gotten the short end of the stick with a lot of his counterparts. That's a good driver right there that hasn't been able to make much happen with a Williams car. But Russell's been a good lad about it and a good sport. And he's just happy to be in F1, so I see good things for Russell in the near future. But right now we're talking Matthew Alder and Paco Suarez and Harry Cooper. Oh, and again, Alder to the inside. And now to the outside. Look at this. Alder trying to go around the outside, puts the power down. Side by side, and now it's a drag race down the front stretch. And Suarez is going to have the DRS advantage along with Harry Cooper. And now the two Haas's are going to try and go to the inside. Mystic has retired. Virtual safety car just as things were starting to heat up. And Mystic looks like he has crashed somewhere in the Sector 2 area just outside of the chicane. And look at this. Paco Suarez and Matthew Alder riding side by side under the virtual safety car. And we're back to green flag racing. Oh, and look at that. Cooper looks like he got a good jump, and Alder dives into the chicane. And yellow flag in Sector 2 again. And that area should be clear at that point. Get a great shot here from the helicopter. This three-car battle that won't stop. Paco Suarez, Matthew Alder, and Harry Cooper running nose to tail. And as these guys have been battling it out, now Thomas Mumford's starting to come into frame in the sixth spot. But Alder again going to get a good run coming out of the last corner. Gets the DRS slot open. And he is very close to Paco Suarez. All the way down to the inside. Suarez tries to run him down to the wall. And this time Alder is going to try and make it stick. He's going to push Suarez wide. Suarez is not going to be there. And Matthew Alder gets the third spot finally. The question is he going to be able to gap Paco Suarez and Harry Cooper? Oh, and a big twitch there by Paco Suarez coming out of that corner. Meanwhile, Brandon Glover's lost a lot of time to Gravity 151. Glover is now almost 6 seconds back. There's a 3-second gap back to Matthew Alder for the third spot. And you've got Paco Suarez and Harry Cooper and the two Haas's running fourth and fifth. Thomas Mumford closing in on this battle. Ollie Flavel coming with him. BRT has got IRL Shane breathing down his neck for the 8th spot. And then there's Indigo in 10th. So we got another three-car battle here for a couple of points paying positions. And Indigo is going to... Oh my goodness, what was that? Okay, quite the glitch there. So Indigo into the pits. And along with Brandon Glover. Glover is pitting. He has switched over to a fresh set of hard tires. So he'll run them to the end. Indigo's pitting. Looks like he's going to swap over to a set of hard tires as well and a new front wing. Meanwhile, Epic has been able to move up into the 12th spot. He's battling side by side with Tim Brusdelines. And Logan, I'm going to tell you right now, Tim's known to be a very aggressive driver. You may just want to be a little careful tiptoeing around him. And there's contact, and there it is. Tim and threading the needle. And Cooper's retired from the session. What has happened to Harry Cooper? Cooper has gone off at the chicane somewhere. Oh, there his car is, and he goes off. So that's a virtual safety car. So Tim Brusdelines and Epic, another on-track altercation. Tried warning you, Logan. Tim's a bit of an aggressive driver. He's for those NASCAR fans out there, he's very much the Kyle Busch type driver. So that gives you an indication of how Tim drives Epic. The animal Logan getting the short end of the stick on that, but threading the needle. I don't know who that was that went through in between them two. And we've got a lot of guys shuffling it up here, diving into the pits onto the virtual safety car. So Gravity 151 finally pits from the lead, switches over to the hard tires. That moves Thomas Mumford into the first spot. DRS is enabled. We're back to green flag racing, and Mumford finds himself out in front with a 2-second lead over BRT Faz, who's got IRL Shane still breathing down his neck. Delta F1 has moved his way into the 4th spot, and Sondre Sauerhawk back into the top 5. And Luke Baker is into 6th. Gravity 151, we talked about him, comes out of the pits in the 7th spot. And it looks like it was Callum Anderson that threaded the needle between Tim Brusdelines and Logan when they both made contact and spun. Tim is now up into the 10th spot. Paco Suarez is 9th. And he's got a train of cars behind him. So it's Paco Suarez, and behind him is Tim, Brandon Glover, Ollie Flavel, Epic the Animal, and it looks like Matthew Alder has pitted for a fresh set of hard tires, dropped all the way back to 14th under the virtual safety car. So the tire strategy is very much up for grabs. And here we've got Brandon Glover making a move around Tim. And Tim's going to lose another spot, so he lets the 2 Toro Rossos go by. And now it's Tim and Logan once again, nose to tail. And DRS slot open on the Alfa Romeo, and to the inside goes Logan. And he's going to make the move on Tim, and we ride along with Tim now as he's fallen back into the 13th spot. Oh, and Tim catches the curb, and that's what I've talked about a couple of times today. That curb will upset the car and call it out every time. Tim loses ground, drops back to the 15th spot. Unfortunately, all the battling that's really close together is all in the back. We got Sondre Sauerhawk now. He's trying to close in on Delta F1. And Lewis Marshall saying that the virtual safety car ruined the race for Matthew Alder. And that very well may be. Alder is currently running in the 13th spot. He is right behind Epic the Animal. So Epic and Matthew, the two drivers that I said were the two drivers to watch at the beginning of this race, both struggling under realistic performance circumstances as they run 12th and 13th. Now that is not because of their driving inabilities. Obviously Logan had the contact with Tim Brusdelines we saw a couple of laps ago. Alder getting called out on the virtual safety car because of Harry Cooper's car. So we started with 20 drivers. We've now got 17 left running. Harry Cooper, Mystic 31, and Sam Thompson all retired from the race. And Thompson retired before the race even started. His car, I don't know if he had an internet issue or not. The car didn't go. Basically bottlenecked the whole starting grid. And it looks like Tim has pitted for a fresh set of soft tires. We're only about halfway through this race, and I don't think those softs are going to last the whole stint of the race that's left. He could make up some positions, though, as some of these guys are going to have to start pitting soon, as they got 14 laps. Some of the medium tire guys are going to have to pit, and we see Gravity go around the Mercedes of Luke Baker. And Brandon Glover making a move. And look at this gaggle of cars here. Here's a whole mess of them. So let's see if we can separate this. That's Paco Suarez. Uh-oh, we've got Faz has lost a couple of spots coming out of that corner. Then we've got this crazy battle going on here. This is Paco Suarez followed by Brandon Glover, Ollie Flavel, Epic the Animal, Callum Anderson, and Matthew Alder. Look at this. They're side by side. This isn't going to work coming up to this corner here. Woo, that's close. Brandon Glover getting impatient, trying to make a move. And everybody, watch that curve. That curve's dangerous. And one by one into the chicane. Look how close they are all together. All the way back to, is that Tyler Thomas at the end of that train? Tyler Thomas. So 8th to 14th, you can throw a blanket over. Look at him. It's like a parade going through Hungary right now. And Brandon Glover, again, looking to try and make a move. He's got Ollie, his teammate, right behind him, but not really teammates. This is all just based on driver performance. No team orders here, I'm sure. Everybody's out to get the best finishing position that they possibly can in this exhibition series. Delta F1 pitted, so he's going to give up a handful of spots. Look at all these cars that are going to go by him. And here comes Brandon Glover to the inside of Paco Suarez. And he is going to be able to make that stick. And now, look at this. Epic has become a part of this battle. He's into the points now, up to 9th. He's bringing Matthew Alder with him. So not all hope is lost for Matthew Alder and Logan. Brandon Glover able to gap Paco Suarez now. So Paco is under threat from Ollie Flavel. And Paco finds himself in the meat of a Toro Rosso sandwich now. Glover runs a little wide coming out of that corner. And all of these drivers looking to set each other up. And a 3-second time penalty for Matthew Alder. Time penalties, I'm sure, will be a factor at the end of this race, especially if these cars continue to run this close together. Sondre Sauerhog is into the pits. He's going to switch over to a fresh set of tires. And he is going to give up a handful of positions because here comes this train of cars. Nobody close enough to make a move on the other one, but here comes Tyler Thomas. He's going to try and get to the inside of Callum Anderson. Anderson's going to hang tough on the outside, get the power down. They're rubbing wheels together. They've both got the DRS open, and oh, big wiggle there. And Tyler Thomas makes it stick. Callum Anderson almost lost the back end of the car. And Sondre pitted from what was the 3rd position, comes out 14th. And Tim Brewster leads. Yellow flag sector 3. And he DNFs. And Callum Anderson's retired from the session. What happened to Callum Anderson? Oh, again there at the top of the hill. There you see his car just off to the right. And we're back to green flag racing. Kevin Harrison still struggling all the way back in 14th. So we'll pick up Brandon Glover. And he has got Paco Suarez behind him with Ollie Flavel, Epic the Animal, Matthew Alder, Tyler Thomas. Meanwhile, Thomas Mumford, who's yet to pit, has got a 2.5-second lead over Gravity 151. And Epic pits, so that's going to drop Epic. Looks like Epic and Shane have pitted for new tires 15 laps remaining in this race. And now Epic is going to come all the way out, 13th spot. Matthew Alder is now running in the 7th spot, so back up to basically where he started. I think he started in the 7th, 8th, or 9th spot. I can't remember correctly off the top of my head. What a crazy race, and Thomas Mumford is losing chunks of time now to Gravity 151. Gravity is now only 1.2 seconds back. Again, Mumford has yet to pit. And then you've got this battle going on. This is from 4th on back. You've got Brandon Glover with Paco Suarez breathing down his neck. Ollie Flavel's right behind him. And you got Matthew Alder right behind him, Tyler Thomas right behind him. So, it looks like Tyler's actually dived into the pits. No, that was Luke Baker that dived into the pits. I'm sorry, getting my Mercedes mixed up. So you get this 4-car battle here, and it's been really interesting to watch, knowing that these drivers, again, we've got different drivers from different tiers, different caliber drivers from F1, F2, F3 series, and they're all driving in realistic performance cars. So you've got the fastest drivers and the slowest cars, the slowest drivers and the fastest cars, and it's definitely mixed things up big time for some of these guys. And now Thomas Mumford is in danger of losing that lead. Again, he has not been, he's got 18 laps on those medium tires, trying to run a very long middle stint. He pitted very early on because of the safety car that came out on lap 3. And we'll see Thomas Mumford is still going to stay out on those mediums. I don't think he'll put up much of a fight over Gravity, knowing that he's the slower driver. And Gravity's got the DRS advantage. He's got the fresher tires. It's to the inside. And Gravity 151 is going to easily take the top spot. So Gravity 151 finds himself back in the lead of this race. Meanwhile, Brandon Glover still has a train of cars behind him. Paco Suarez still the meat in the middle of a Toro Rosso sandwich. Matthew Alder trying to work his way back towards the front. He was up as to a high as 3rd before one of the virtual safety cars came out while he was in the pit sequence and ruined his race for him. Look at this side by side, Ollie Flavel and Paco Suarez. And Ollie's going to make the move towards the top of the hill, and he gets it to stick, so Ollie takes over the 4th spot. And now Suarez is under threat from Matthew Alder, one of the fastest drivers in the world. A big wiggle coming out of the corner there. Your reigning and 2-time Formula One IRL champion Matthew Alder running in the 6th spot in the Williams. And we've got a yellow flag, and it looks like that might be for Indigo. Might have been a quick on-off. You see Epic back there. And here comes Alder. And it looks like Thomas Mumford finally pits. So that moves Brandon Glover into the 2nd spot, and with him is this train of cars. Brandon Glover, Ollie Flavel, Paco Suarez, Matthew Alder, Shane, Tyler Thompson, 2nd through 6th. All basically, I'm sorry, 2nd through 7th is basically all together, and then 3rd through 7th all have DRS over one another. And Tyler Thomas just picks up a 3-second time penalty, currently running in the 7th spot. And Sandre Sauerhawk picks up a 3-second time penalty, and there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. And it looks like this could be Tyler Thomas. Oh, Tyler Thomas has had some contact. He's off course. Looks like he's got some end plate damage on the left front part of that wing. Swings the car around and swings it too much. So we'll swing it back. And he drops all the way to 15th, so Tyler Thomas is no longer a part of the epic battle that is going on. So now Toro Rosso is running second and third. That is Brandon Glover and Ollie Flavel. Paco Suarez is currently running in fourth. Delta F1 losing a spot here to Luke Baker. Baker goes around him. And Tyler Thomas has officially retired from the session. And that is too bad for Tyler. That is going to bring out the safety car. And Tim Bruce officially leaves the session. So this is the second full course caution we've had today. We've had 2 virtual safety cars, plus 2 actual safety cars. Been a lot of action on track for sure. We'll see if anybody takes a gamble and pits. So about 11 laps left remaining in this race. Safety car out. So the safety car will pick up the leader, pick up the cars. And that will, now this is not what Gravity 151 wanted to see. Gravity's going to take his chances, though. He's going to pit. 11 laps remaining. Does he switch over to softs or does he switch over to the mediums? Looks like he's going to switch over to a fresh set of soft, or medium tires, I should say. Anybody else taking a gamble? Here comes Brandon Glover, Ollie Flavel, Paco Suarez, Matthew Alder. Shane stays out. He's only got 5 laps on his medium tires, so he stays out. It's going to move him into the second spot. Anybody else? Thomas Mumford just came in a couple of laps ago, so he'll stay out. That moves him into third. This is going to shuffle the running order big time. And look at this, Epic stays out as well. 5-lap old mediums, that moves him up into 6th. And Gravity 151, the big winner here, it had a big enough gap to get in and pit, plus everybody behind him was pitting as well, so he's able to pit. He's the first driver on fresh tires. Other than that, Shane, Thomas Mumford, Sandre Sauerhog, Luke Baker, Epic the Animal, all stayed out. Your next driver on fresh set of mediums is Brandon Glover, all the way back to 7th. Matthew Alder is down to 8th. Paco Suarez is now 9th. Those guys are on fresh tires. Then BRT stayed out. Ollie Flavel comes out in the middle of that. And Indigo on fresh mediums as well. So we started with 20 drivers. We've got 14 remaining. Tyler Thomas, Callum Anderson, Tim Bruslings, Harry Cooper, Mystic 31, and Sam Thompson, all with a DNF here in today's IRL Exhibition Series race. Realistic performance cars. The fastest drivers and the slowest cars, the slowest drivers and the fastest cars, and it is made for quite an interesting race, I must say. So it was short-lived, but Tyler, it was good to see you on track again, and certainly wish you the best of luck moving into F3 next season. Another exciting season of IRL racing. So the little bit of information I have on the upcoming season, as we talked earlier, there could be up to 4 tiers of F1 drivers, so F1, F2, F3, and F4. They're also going to do realistic performance races in the middle of the week. The seasons, I believe, are going to be 11 races long, and they're going to race on tracks voted by the drivers. So good on IRL, letting the drivers pick where they want to race. There's going to be some organized competition races in the next couple of weeks to shuffle out the drivers to see what drivers will be in what leagues. Obviously, some are more obvious than others. You have a guy like Matthew Alder who has been in F1 and will probably stay in F1. But drivers like Epic the Animal Logan, he's proven to have a lot of speed in F2. Could possibly get a bump into F1, might stay in F2, we're not sure. Ivan Burrito, who's not racing today but was an F3 driver, got a win last year, might make the way into F2. Same with Callum Anderson. Anderson, I believe, won the F3 championship, so he could move into F2 as well. So those races are going to take place in the next coming weeks as well. I think they're going to wait for the new game to come out, and they'll run possibly 2 seasons on F1 2020. And rumor has it that it is the last F1 game from Codemasters that'll be on the PlayStation 4, so they could run 2 seasons on the F4 platform before switching over to possibly PS5 in a couple seasons. So, but the safety car will be in this lap. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for more news and notes at F1_IRL to keep up with all the news and notes. And if you're a first-time viewer, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. The YouTube channel, lots of action going on. So Gravity 151 finds himself as the control car once again. And this time he's got IRL Shane 50 behind him. And back to green flag racing. Green, green, green. Don't pass before the start-finish line. And your top 3, Gravity 151, IRL Shane, and Thomas Mumford. And then you've got this whole gaggle of cars behind him. We've already got Kevin Harrison. Looks like he's losing his spot to Indigo. Excuse me. And I think Harrison's going to want this race back. He has struggled with that racing point. That car is not set up to his liking at all. He has struggled with handling all day. And he is the last car running all the way down to the 14th spot. Shane 50 picks up a 3-second time penalty. Sandre Sauerhog looks like he's going around. Got a little bit of help at the top of the hill. So he drops to 14th. Meanwhile, back up towards the front, we've got Shane trying to close into Gravity, but Gravity's been pretty much in command this whole race. He's done a good job controlling the race. Slower driver in a faster car, and it's nice to see what you can do like in something like that. Running up front with some of the big boys, and the big boys being Brandon Glover running in the 6th spot, Matthew Alder running in 7th, 2 Formula 1 drivers, obviously 2-time champion Matthew Alder. Not only probably the fastest driver in the league, but he's one of the fastest drivers in the world. He's even got some top 5 time trial times that I've been told about in the game. So Matthew Alder very quick. Brandon Glover's proven to be very quick, and it looks like Ollie Flavel trying to make a move on BRT. BRT, another fast F1 driver. He's in the Williams as well. And these guys going side by side. Looks like Ollie is going to be able to take advantage of that. Goes down to the inside, and he's going to secure that position. Meanwhile, Alder is all over the back of Brandon Glover, and I'm sure Glover has been in this position one too many times at the course of the F1 season. Alder breathing down his neck, but Glover says, this time I've got the advantage. I've got a better car. I've got more power. The laps winding down on lap 28 of 35. It would have been a very hectic race through and through. And be sure to tune in next week where we will do another IRL exhibition race. I think it's going to be in Germany, but it is going to be a 100% distance race for the IRL exhibition series. It's all up for grabs. There's no championship at stake here for the IRL exhibition series. These are just some random races. The first race they ran was F2 cars, not F2 tier, but actual F2 cars at Monza. And then last week they ran 2010 cars, so a classic one. This week we're doing the realistic performance, and then next week we're going to run a 100% full race. Not 100% about the qualifying. They might be doing the whole qualifying as well, the full three round knockout qualifying. So looks like Glover is still under threat there. Looked like Luke Baker cut that chicane pretty bad. And then obviously be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. You can also keep up on some other videos that will be coming your way. There'll be some POV videos of some of the drivers doing the Dirt Rally Championship. We'll be posting them up. I'm currently the points leader in Season 2 because only 3 drivers participated in the first round. I think they focused so much on the exhibition series that they forgot about it, so good on them. Hopefully they compete again this week too. You look at the back of Brandon Glover staring at Matthew Alder. Alder's trying to find a way around him. They both got the DRS advantage, and they've closed in on Epic just a little bit now. And Luke is all over the back of Thomas Mumford. This is the battle for the last spot on the podium. 5 laps to go. Everything up for grabs. Gravity 151's pulled out over IRL Shane with a 2 to 3.5 seconds. Shane is running all by his lonesome. Because 2 seconds behind him is this battle here. And Kevin Harrison just picked up a 3-second time penalty. And anything could still happen in the remaining 5 laps of this race. We've seen how quickly things can change for some of these drivers. And Shane just picked up a 3-second time penalty. And that could be catastrophic, because if the race ended now, he would certainly lose second and third position. So time penalties are going to start adding up here as the race winds down. And I got to say once again, I know I was a little critical of Hungary at the start of this race, but Hungary, I got to say, from an online standpoint, it is not disappointed as far as online racing goes. Between IRL and SRL, the 2 leagues that I predominantly commentate for, there's been a lot of good racing online in Hungary the last few seasons. And Harry Cooper, who crashed out of this race long ago, has officially left the session. Paco Suarez picks up another 3-second time penalty. However, I will say it does stand Hungary is not a great track in reality. Don't care what anybody says. So while Luke Baker's been trying to find a way around Thomas Mumford, it has allowed this group of cars to catch him. You see Epic, the animal, that is Logan, the American, there in the 5th spot. He's got Brandon Glover all over him, and then behind him is Matthew Alder. These guys have been able to catch this battle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars battling it out for basically one spot. And Mumford and Baker side by side. Oh, and look at that. Baker makes the move. Mumford loses the spot. And here comes Epic. He thought about diving it down to the inside. So Thomas Mumford loses out on the 3rd spot. Yellow flag sector 2. Looks like that's one of the Ferraris is off. Was that Gravity? Gravity going off. Oh my goodness, he was in control of this race, and now he's in the midst. Look at this, he's in this battle for 3rd. And IRL Shane's going, hey, look at me, look what I can do. He's out in front to the 2 to 3 seconds over Luke Baker. Thomas Mumford's still 3rd, and now he's got Gravity all over the back of him, and Gravity's got to be banging the steering wheel. He's fuming under that helmet. Here he comes to the inside. And Epic's going, where the heck did this Ferrari come from? I was just battling with a McLaren. And side by side, there's contact in between the Toro Rosso of Ali Flavel and the Haas of Paco Suarez. Suarez loses out on it big time. He falls back to 10th. Indigo picks up the spot. 3 laps remaining in what has been a ridiculous race. And Thomas Mumford trying to take the spot back from Gravity. Gravity trying to hold him off. Side by side, down the short chute into the next left-hander. Oh, and Gravity's being very aggressive. He gets to the inside, pushes Mumford wide. They're side by side coming through here. That's not going to work. Woo, that was close. And here comes Epic. Epic's going, it's time to put the hammer down. Laps are winding down. And Luke Baker cutting that chicane again too many times. That's going to cost him another time penalty. This race has not let up in any fashion, any way, shape, or form since the drop of the green flag when the lights went out, the action started immediately with the retirement of Sam Thompson at the start-finish line. And it's been non-stop ever since. And this whole gaggle of cars, realistic performance, my butt. This goes to show the caliber of drivers that we've got in IRL. These guys, the fastest drivers are the slowest cars, the slowest drivers are the fastest cars, and it has really equaled everything out in the top 10 points-paying positions. It's been unbelievable. Look at these drivers coming down the front straightaway. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And Epic to the inside. Tries to stuff it down in there, puts the power back down. They're side by side coming out of the corner. Here he comes. Mumford's going to have the inside line. Epic's got the DRS advantage and swings it and slams the door as he cuts across the nose of Thomas Mumford, and Mumford falls into the into the 5th spot. Meanwhile, Gravity back on the podium, trying to work his way back into the 2nd spot. And he just ran a purple Sector 1, and we know IRL Shane's got a 3-second time penalty, so the win is still up for grabs. A lap and a half to go in what has been a ridiculous race here in Hungary. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And a 3-second time penalty for Gravity as he just went too wide coming out of that last corner. So now he's in danger of losing a couple spots. Time penalties are going to be key at the end of this race. I don't know who has what or how many. I like to leave it up for grabs. I like it to be a shocker at the end of this race, and that's what we're working towards. Final lap of this 35-lap exhibition race. IRL Shane 50 out in front to the tune, and here comes Luke Baker. He's lost the spot to Gravity. Gravity to the inside. Ferrari versus Mercedes. Looks like there was a little bit of contact there, and Gravity side by side with him still. Down the short chute, around the outside, and there's contact! Luke Baker makes contact and a huge crash! Epic the animal! Done! Oh my goodness, huge crash! And that is unfortunate for Epic. I can't believe that. It is really unfortunate for him. Luke Baker pretty much out of the points at this point. Gravity trying to close in on IRL Shane 50. Shane 50 has no idea what's going on behind him. Indigo and Glover going back and forth, and here comes Matthew Alder, and it's 3 wide going to the corner. There's no way this is going to work towards the end of this race. Side by side, Indigo, Glover, banging wheels, rubbing shoulders. Oh, and there's contact between Alder and Paco Suarez, and they make contact with each other. They're into the Armco. And Alder's got all kinds of wing damage. So Shane 50's come across the line. He's lost the win there to Gravity because of time penalties. Gravity's going to come out on top. Shane drops the 3rd. Mumford is 2nd. It's 3 wide across the line. Who's got what? And they're wrecking as they come across the line. Unbelievable race. I didn't even get to see the finishing order. What a crazy finish. Matthew Alder is officially sitting in the 7th spot. That is a good run at a Williams. I know Alder's going to be disappointed. How did this pan out? I was too busy watching the cars drag race across the line. There's Gravity 151. Thomas Mumford, and it looks like a Toro Rosso. I don't know if that's Brandon Glover or Ali Flava. We'll find out here in a minute. What a race. That is unbelievable. That is a crazy last lap. Wow. So here is the results of what was a crazy race. Gravity 151 with the win. Thomas Mumford is 2nd. Ali Flavo is 3rd. Brendan Glover is 4th. BRT Faz is 5th. Shane drops from 1st to 6th because of the time penalties. Matthew Alder is 7th. Paco Suarez is 8th. Indigo is 9th. And Sandre Sourhog, say what you will, Lewis. He puts a point on the board. Delta F1 is 11th. Kevin Harrison is 12th. Luke Baker 13th. Epic the Animal. Tyler Thomas. Callum Anderson. Tim Bruslings. Harry Cooper. Mystic 31 and Sam Thompson all DNF'd. What a ridiculous race. And shout out to Logan, Epic the Animal. You got the short end of the stick on that one. He comes down the short chute into that left-hander, and there's nothing there but a Mercedes, and boom, done. So what a crazy race. Guys, if you're watching and you haven't been with us before, please like, subscribe, and comment to the IRL YouTube channel. Be sure to check out this previous season. This has been the IRL Exhibition Series. This was realistic performance. And again, I said it a lot, but I do like saying it, the fastest drivers and the slowest cars, the slowest drivers and the fastest cars. It made for an incredible race. Unbelievable finish. Crazy last lap. And be sure to check out the previous IRL exhibition races. Again, week 1 we did actual F2 cars in Monza. Last week it was the 2010 cars. Today was realistic performance. Next week we're going to do a 100% race at Germany. So be sure to look out for that. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at F1_IRL for all the news and notes, especially what's coming next season. Because F1 2020 is coming out, possibly up to 4 different tiers of drivers because we've had so many signups, not to mention a realistic performance league that we'll be racing on Wednesday nights. So guys, be sure to check that out. I'm KAMIKAZE-FOX. This has been International Racing League IRL Exhibition Series F1 2019 on the PS4 platform. Guys, unbelievable race. I'm glad you all stuck around for it. Go back and watch it again because it's definitely worth the watch. We will see everybody at the next round.